I never should have stepped into the arena that day. Not because I feared losing, no, losing would have been the easy part. What I didn't expect was winning. And what I really didn't expect was the prize. They never mentioned the princess. They never mentioned marriage. And they definitely never mentioned that the queen herself had her eyes on me before the final duel even began. But by the time I realized what I'd gotten into, I was already crowned champion of the Galactic tournament. And an entire empire was waiting for my response. New Moon Symbol Part 1, The Arena of Worlds. My name is Cade Rowan, a simple cargo hauler from Earth. No noble blood. No special powers. No great destiny. Or so I thought. My ship had malfunctioned near the Zyrathian border, and I'd been forced to dock at their colossal orbital city, Vorinth Prime. A place where markets were endless, species of every kind mingled, and danger hid behind every neon-lit corner. But nothing compared to the arena. The locals told stories about it. The Galactic Tournament, a once-every-decade event where warriors from dozens of star systems fought for glory, honor, and a mysterious prize of royal favor. They said the reward changed every decade. Sometimes it was gold. Sometimes a command position. Sometimes a ship capable of bending gravity. No one ever said anything about people. Definitely not about a princess. When I entered the arena gates as a spectator, I thought I'd just watch. But fate had a strange sense of humor. A brawl broke out between two towering gladiators near the entrance. Their fight spilled toward me, and as one swung wildly, I instinctively blocked, ducked, twisted, and dropped him with a clean elbow to the jaw. Silence. Then, cheers. Roaring, thunderous cheers. Before I could flee, a Zyrathian official grinned at me with 3 rows of sharp teeth. "Congratulations, human," he boomed. "You've qualified." Qualified for what? For the tournament, of course. I would have refused. But stepping back meant stepping into 4 guards, each 7 feet tall and built like armored rhinos. And so, I was pushed through the metal gates, handed light armor plating, and shoved into a chamber with 100 other competitors. Every species stared at me. A lone human. Smallest among them. Weakest among them. Or so they thought. Fire Part 2, the fights begin. The first round was chaos. Blasters flashing, energy whips cracking, plasma shields colliding. I had nothing but a metal staff and my instincts. But humans are unpredictable. We move differently. We fight differently. And as much as I hated it, I'd been trained on Earth. Not military. Not professional. Just a rough childhood on the streets, fighting for survival every day. I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't the most skilled. But I knew how to adapt. I slipped between a 4-armed brute's legs, hooked his ankle, and sent him tumbling from the platform. Knocked a reptilian warrior unconscious with his own tail. Even outsmarted a psychic fighter by humming, yes, humming, because it disrupted her concentration. The crowd loved it. By the 5th round, chants echoed. "Tchuman, Tchuman, Tchuman." But someone else was watching too. High above the arena, in a private balcony veiled by shimmering force fields, sat the Queen of Zyrathia. Tall. Regal. Wrapped in silver armor. Eyes glowing like molten gold. And beside her, her daughter. The one I hadn't noticed yet. But she noticed me. Every fight. Every move. Every breath. Her gaze never left me. I didn't know it then. But she had already chosen her champion. Crossed Swords Part 3, the final battle. Only 2 fighters remained. Me. And a titan from the Vorkan sector. 8 feet tall. Skin like stone. Claws like blades. The match wasn't fair. It wasn't meant to be. The crowd believed I'd die. I almost did. The titan lunged, ripping metal plates off the ground like sheets of paper. I dodged left, too slow. A claw sliced across my side, and pain exploded through me. But adrenaline kept me moving. I leapt onto a pillar, ran across it, and jumped. Only for the Titan to catch me mid-air and slam me into the ground. Everything blurred. My ears rang. Blood filled my mouth. The Titan lifted me by the throat. The crowd gasped. The Queen stood. And the princess took one step forward, gripping the balcony rail. I don't know if it was their eyes, the noise, or survival instinct. But I swung upward with every ounce of strength, jamming my staff into the Titan's throat. A crack. A roar. The Titan stumbled. I pressed the advantage, sweeping his legs, jumping onto his chest, and striking the final blow. The arena erupted. Lights flashed. Sirens wailed. Confetti made of shimmering particles rained down from the sky. A booming voice echoed. The human is champion. I fell to my knees, exhausted, dizzy, barely conscious. And then the Queen descended from her balcony. The crowd parted like water. She approached me with heavy, metallic steps, her golden cloak trailing behind her. Rise, champion of Xyrathia. I forced myself up. The Queen's eyes glowed brighter. 4 centuries, our tradition has rewarded the champion with the greatest gift our kingdom can offer. She paused. The hand of the royal heir. My heart stopped. I blinked. What? The crowd roared louder. And for the first time, the princess stepped forward. She removed her silver helmet, revealing deep violet eyes, luminescent skin, and hair like flowing starlight. She looked at me with a small, knowing smile. You fought bravely, human, she said softly. I have watched you since the first round. My voice cracked. You're the prize. She nodded. The Queen spoke again. You will be her consort, her protector, her chosen mate. The arena shook from thunderous cheers. But I stood frozen. Marriage? To a princess? To an alien princess? I just wanted to fix my ship and get home. Dizzy Part 4, The Princess's Words. Guards escorted me to a private chamber while healers tended to my wounds. Moments later, the princess entered. She dismissed the attendants with a wave of her hand. Then she approached me slowly. I had hoped you would win, she said. I stared at her. Why me? Because you're different. She sat beside me, her violet eyes glowing softly. Every warrior in this tournament fought with pride, ego, or hunger for power. But you fought to survive. You fought with heart. No arrogance. No cruelty. No thirst for blood. She paused. And you are human, unpredictable, adaptable, resilient. A species we rarely encounter, yet deeply admire. I swallowed hard. She continued. Our customs are ancient. The champion must join the royal line. But I told my mother I would only accept someone I deemed worthy. And somehow that's me. Yes, she whispered. I chose you long before you won. My mind spun. But what if I refuse? I asked. She stiffened. Then, my honor would be wounded. My kingdom would question my judgment. My mother, she values tradition above all. Her voice softened. I do not wish to force you. But know this, I have never wanted anyone else. She looked away, and for a moment, she seemed less like a princess, and more like a lonely girl with the weight of stars on her shoulders. I exhaled. I just need time, I said. She smiled faintly. You have until sunrise. Milky Way Part 5, The Night Before Sunrise. They gave me a balcony suite overlooking the glowing city below. I couldn't sleep. Marriage? To an alien princess? To a kingdom I didn't understand? Back home, no one even remembered me. I had no family. No partner. No future waiting. Here. I had a kingdom offering me purpose. A princess who actually admired me. A life of meaning. But was it truly mine to choose? As dawn neared, I stood at the balcony's edge. The princess appeared quietly. You haven't slept, she said. How could I? She stood beside me, hands clasped gently. I know this is overwhelming, she whispered. I know your heart is uncertain. But my request remains. She looked into my eyes. Don't choose my kingdom. Don't choose my crown. She placed a hand over her heart. Choose me. Her voice trembled as she said it. I felt something shift inside me. Not pressure. Not fear. Something softer. Something real. Crown Part 6, The Choice. At sunrise, the grand hall filled with nobles, generals, and spectators. The queen stood at the center, armored and magnificent. The princess waited by her side, expression unreadable. I was escorted in. All rise for the champion, the herald shouted. I stepped forward. The queen's voice echoed across the hall. Cade Rowan of Earth. You have fought bravely, proven your worth, and earned the highest honor Zyrathia can bestow. She raised a ceremonial blade. Kneel and accept your place beside my daughter. I looked at the princess. She didn't speak. She didn't move. But her eyes. They pleaded silently. And in that moment, the decision became clear. I knelt. But not for the crown. For her. The hall erupted in cheers. The queen smiled with regal pride. The princess let out a breath she'd been holding, her eyes shimmering. She stepped toward me and gently placed her hand in mine. From this moment, the queen declared, you are bound to the royal house of Zyrathia. Champion, consort, and protector of the princess. The princess leaned closer, whispering softly, thank you, human. But this time, her voice wasn't trembling. It was full of hope. Shooting Star Part 7, A New Destiny. Later, when the crowds had gone and ceremony ended, we stood together on the palace balcony. The princess looked at me shyly. So, Cade Rowan of Earth, she said playfully. How does it feel to be engaged to a princess? I smirked. Confusing. Terrifying. Kind of exciting. She laughed, a sound like ringing crystals. You'll learn our customs. I'll teach you everything. I raised a brow. Everything? She blushed. Yes, everything. The stars reflected in her violet eyes as she took my hand. You didn't just win a tournament, she whispered. You won me. I squeezed her hand gently. And I'll protect you, I said. Not because I'm ordered to, but because I want to. Her smile was warm and true. Then welcome to your new life, she said. Champion, and future prince. Below us, the city glowed with 1,000 colors. Above us, ships soared between constellations. And beside me stood a princess who had chosen me not for power, but for heart. A destiny I never sought, but one I'd gladly walk into. With her.